Many people are stepping through life believing that the story will always hold them back in some way. And I can totally relate because I have been there too, believe me. What I wish I had in those moments was a reference point, someone or something to help me believe that even the darkest parts of my story was shaping me into the person I was always meant to be. Nowadays, as a international speaker, entrepreneur, and husband to the most amazing woman, I've made it my mission to help you own your story so that you can live a life of impact, influence, and inspiration. I'm Winston Ben Clements, and this is Born to Win. Hey everyone, and let me start by wishing you all a incredibly and prosperous Happy New Year. And yeah, I just hope that the festive season has provided you with opportunities for rest, opportunities for reflection, and that you are raring to go in 2021. And how did I spend my holiday? I think for me, the holiday season was super fun, even though it didn't go exactly as planned. So, here in the UK where I live, the government tightened restrictions just before the Christmas break, because of the virus and the pandemic. And so we were not really able to spend as much time with family as we had initially planned and as we would have liked. Nonetheless, myself and my wife, we did actually get to travel and enjoy a few days in the sun, which was really nice. And I'll be sharing. I think we'll be sharing a few photos of our holiday very soon. So make sure you follow us on social media if you want to see what we got up to over the Christmas break. And speaking of social media, I'm always blown away with gratitude when I read your comments, your questions, and I guess just your reflections on this podcast. And so I just want to take a moment to say a massive thank you, because honestly, your engagement, it keeps me motivated, and it just keeps me energized, and it just continues to give me the inspiration to keep going, right? So I appreciate you so much for that. And yeah, and actually I've been thinking, because I'm not always able to, to get to all the questions on the various platforms, I think, this year, one thing I want to explore is, starting a live Q&A session in the Born to Win Facebook group. So, this will be a place where you can log on and just chat with me live. So please do let me know if this is something that would be of value to you, just to be able to log on, talk with me live and maybe ask me some of the follow-up questions that you might have after listening to an episode. So if that's something that would be of value, drop me a line and I will just get it arranged as soon as possible. Because, if I'm truly honest, I just feel so blessed to have each and every one of you as members of this community, this Born to Win community, which is it's becoming a powerful community of winners. And so, one thing that I want to do more and I want to do better this year is just to create opportunities for us to get to know each other better, and hopefully in that process I will discover some ways in which I can be of more value to you, right? Oh, and just in case you're not already in the Facebook group, I'll make sure to drop off the link in the comments, in the show notes of this episode. So just check the notes of this episode for the link if you want to join that Facebook group where we can have a live Q&A with me, and just get to know each other better, right? And so So 2021 is here, and I feel like the start of each new year, it's always exciting, from, I always remember like the new year being, just, just carrying a feeling of excitement. And I guess it's because, every new year brings an opportunity, at least it brings the seed of opportunity, right? And I think this year, maybe more so than other years, after the the ups and downs that we've all experienced, or that we all experienced in 2020, right? And and so last week I shared with you in preparation for the new year, I shared with you my 4-step process for planning your goals so that you can hit the ground running in 2021. And I strongly encourage you to go back to the previous episode in case you missed it, or in case you still haven't had an opportunity to set your 2021 goals. I really strongly encourage you to revisit last week's episode, because this will give you a process and a toolkit to do this, right? But for those of you who've already listened to the episode, or you've already planned out your year, if you listen to that episode, you remember that one of the steps in my 4-step process was the visualization step. So that was a key part of my process for setting my goals for 2021. And it's actually a process that I run every year, right? To plan my year. And visualization is something that is widely spoken about, especially in the personal development world. And for me, this is such an important step. I believe it might even be the most important step within your planning, right? And so this is where I felt that I wanted to spend a bit more time today on this visualization step. Which is, when I talk about visualization, I'm talking about, how can you take that dream, that image that is in your mind's eye and turn it into a reality? What is the secret? Because it seems like some people are able to turn their dreams into reality, to manifest their goals, whilst for other people it just seems to take forever and a day, right? And so I've been thinking about this, and maybe I'll start by sharing a bit of a story, which is, if you follow me on social media, or maybe something about my background, you'll have probably heard me mention that my ultimate mission, or my ultimate purpose, I believe, is to inspire 1 billion people to unleash their full potential, right? This is what I believe is my purpose, the calling, the reason why God put me on this earth, right? And actually that's one of the reasons why I created this platform, to be another tool, or another way for me to for this message to reach the masses. And hopefully this is a message that will help a lot of people, or that is helping a lot of people, right? So that was one of the motivations for me in creating this Born to Win platform, right? It's purpose driven, right? And so one of the questions that I get asked quite often is, especially when I speak on stage, but yeah, even when I've been interviewed in the media or on other platforms, is, where did that number come from, Winston? Where did you get this number of 1 billion? Why do you want to inspire 1 billion? Why not 1 million? 1 million is still a big number. 100,000 is still a big number, right? Hey, even 100 is a big number, right? And honestly, for a long time, I didn't really have a good answer to this question, if I'm totally honest. It was just something that I knew intuitively. For what I just always had, or for a long time, I've always had the conviction that my story had the potential to help a lot of people, to have a global impact. And so 1 billion felt like the right number, because for me, if you reach 1 billion people or close to that, then you probably achieved a global impact. You probably, in reaching that milestone, you have probably helped a lot of people, right? And so, for me as a believer and as a Christian, when I started to become to build up awareness around my purpose and my calling, my one of my early prayers was, dear God, if this purpose, if this vision is from you, then then please give me the guidance, right? Please give me the guidance to, in pursuing it. But more importantly, please give me clarity on what this vision, on what this purpose should be, right? And so, last week when I was talking about setting your goals and creating your vision, one of the things that I really emphasized was that a good vision should always be specific. In other words, the best visions are the ones that are crystal clear, right? You can see them, you can feel them, you can almost taste them, right? And if you think about it, it's actually much harder to manifest something if you're not really clear about what it looks like, right? If you don't have that clarity around anything, it's very, very difficult to bring it to life, right? To breathe life into it. And so I guess, the question is, how do you reach you might be thinking, so how do you reach that level of clarity, right? And, for me, one of the answers in reaching that level of clarity is through, how can I say it? It's through reconnecting to your source, right? And in my case, that meant reconnecting to God, saying that prayer, dear God, please give me that clarity. Please give me that direction, right? And, I appreciate that this process of reconnecting to your source, it may look different depending on your own belief system, right? So for some people, it might look like reconnecting with or aligning with your intuition, right? For some people, it might look like reconnecting with your purpose or reconnecting with your why. This will look different depending on who you are as an individual and what you believe in. And but one thing to be aware of is, just because you took the time to reconnect with your source, to realign yourself, that doesn't automatically mean that you will get the clarity straight away, right? And, even in my case, just to put some more meat on the bones, even in my case, after saying those prayers, I didn't just wake up the next day and, I had this moment where everything was crystal clear, right? Almost like that epiphany you might see in the movies. You wake up and, everything makes sense, right? I didn't really have that big moment, right? And actually, even today, I am still in the process. I am still downloading a new image, a new piece of the puzzle, of my purpose every single day, right? And yeah, maybe let me give you an example at this point. So one of the big, let's say, downloads that I had, maybe a year and a half ago, when my wife and I were getting to know each other, was, we kind of discovered that we both had an ambition to impact the personal development world, not just here in the UK, but also globally. And specifically, we knew that we were called to do this work in the USA, right? We knew that at some point we would be called to have an impact in the United States. And as we were talking about this and, discovering what this might look like, it was actually something that we prayed over for a long, long time. I think we knew that this was a direction that we were being drawn to. But again, we reconnected with our source. We both sought clarity, on what this might actually look like. And for us, again, as Christians, this meant, spending time in prayer, right? And maybe I'll talk a bit more about this, this calling and this sense that we had, this pull, towards working in the USA or creating an impact in the USA. Maybe I'll have that as a separate episode, right? Because it's actually a really powerful story, the way everything unfolded, right? But what I can say for now, and this might be exciting if you're listening to this, or if you're a follower of the Born to Win podcast, and you live in the US, the big update is that, it's looking like we will be with you in the US sooner rather than later. So that thing that was, maybe just a vision or just a goal for me and my wife 18 months ago it's progressed and is now looking like it's going to become a reality very, very soon. So watch this space, right? And so maybe, I'll leave it there for today on that big bombshell. But again, please do drop in with your questions and with your comments, to let me know if this episode resonated with you. But I guess just to kind of give you the key takeaway here, or the recap, is, when it comes to manifesting and to turning those dreams into reality, yes, please do write down your goals. That's important. Please do take the time to visualize your dreams, right? But don't forget to take a moment to reconnect with your source. That is the big message that I want to share today, right? Take a moment to reconnect with your source. And, that could mean, for me, that meant just taking the time to pause and to hear God's voice in this calling and in this thing that I believe I'm called to do, right? In this big goal that I have. And so, I urge you to do the same, whatever that process might look like for you, right? Reconnect with your source. I think that is so important, because it's very easy to just jump into goal setting, to creating a vision. But for me, I think there's a powerful and maybe hidden power in reconnecting to that source, right? Your source. And so, once again, guys, I just want to reiterate, that just how grateful I am to have you all coming along on this journey with me, and just to once again wish you a wonderful start to the new year. I honestly really feel, and I speak actually, that this year will be that year when you do own your story, when you do step into that purpose, that God-given purpose, that is unique to each and every one of you, right? So for now, thank you so much for tuning in, and have a wonderful day. And honestly, I cannot wait to catch up with you this time next week. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And by the way, if you're listening on Spotify, Apple, or some other kind of app, and you got some value from today's episode, then I'd absolutely love if you could drop me a quick review. Until next time.